Hello there. We're in the chapter, The Other Six Deadly Sins, an essay following upon a lecture that Dorothy Sayers gave at Westminster in 1941. The sixth deadly sin is named by the Church in Latin, that is, acedia, or sloth. In the world it calls itself tolerance, but in hell it is called despair. It is the accomplice of the other sins and their worst punishment. It is the sin which believes in nothing, cares for nothing, seeks to know nothing, interferes with nothing, enjoys nothing, loves nothing, hates nothing, finds purpose in nothing, lives for nothing, and not only remains alive because there is nothing it would die for. We have known it far too well for many years. The only thing perhaps that we have not known about it is that it is a mortal sin. The war has jerked us pretty sharply into consciousness about this slug-a-bed sin of sloth, and perhaps we need not say too much about it. But two warnings are rather necessary. First, it is one of the favorite tricks of this sin to dissemble itself under cover of a whiffling activity of body. We think that if we are busily rushing about and doing things, we cannot be suffering from sloth. And besides, violent activity seems to offer an escape from the horrors of sloth. So the other sins hasten to provide a cloak for sloth. Gluttony offers a whirl of dancing, dining, sports, dashing very fast from place to place to gape at beauty spots, which when we get to them, we defile with vulgarity and waste. Covetousness takes us or rakes us out of bed at an early hour in order that we may put pep and hustle into our business. Envy sets us to gossip and scandal, to writing cantankerous letters to the papers, and to the unearthing of secrets and the scavenging of dustbins. Wrath provides, very ingeniously, the argument that the only fitting activity in a world so full of evildoers and evil demons is to curse loudly and incessantly. Whatever brute and blackguard made the world, while lust provides that round of dreary promiscuity that passes for bodily vigor. But these are all disguises for the empty heart and the empty brain and the empty soul of acedia, that is, sloth. Let us take particular notice of the empty brain. Here sloth is in a conspiracy with envy to prevent people from thinking. Sloth persuades us that stupidity is not our sin, but our misfortune, while envy at the same time persuades us that intelligence is despicable, a dusty, highbrow, and commercially useless thing. And secondly, the war has jerked us out of sloth, but wars, if they go on very long, induce sloth in the shape of war weariness and despair of any purpose. We saw its effects in the last piece, when it brought all the sins in its train. There are times when one is tempted to say that the great, sprawling, lethargic sin of sloth is the oldest and greatest of the sins and the parent of all the rest. Well, these are indeed prophetic words, because the despair and war weariness, lack of purpose that followed World War II in the wake of this essay that was released around the end of World War II. The despair and the purposelessness of life in Great Britain, and I would say the rest of the war-weary world, was indeed the beginning of the decline of Christianity in the West and all of the assumptions that went with Christianity in Christian ethics and morality. All of that had happened by, 20 years in, after the World War had ended. By the mid-1960s, all of Christianity's centuries-old assumptions were being questioned. So it turns out Sayers was a prophet. Next, she discusses the last of the seven deadly sins, maybe the worst of them all, superbia, or pride.